Hello everyone, my name is Navya. So first we can discuss about JavaScript variables. Variables are used to store data in JavaScript. Variables are also used to store reusable values. The values of the variables are allocated using the assignment operator, which assigns the value of the right hand operand to its left hand operand. In JavaScript, variables must have unique names. These names are called identifiers. Basic rules to declare a variable in JavaScript is these are case sensitive. It can contain letters, numbers, underscores, or symbols. A variable name cannot be a reserved keyword. JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, so the type of variable is decided at runtime. Therefore, there is no need to explicitly define the type of a variable. We can declare variables in JavaScript in three ways: JavaScript var keyword, JavaScript let keyword, JavaScript constant keyword. So the next topic is JavaScript arrays. In an array in JavaScript is a data structure used to store multiple values in a single variable. It can also hold various data types and allows for dynamic resizing. Elements are accessed by their index starting from 0. You have two ways to create JavaScript arrays: using the array constructor or the shorthand array literal syntax, which is just square brackets. Arrays are flexible in size, so they can grow or shrink as you add or remove elements. There are some basic terminologies of JavaScript array. First, array, a data structure in JavaScript allows you to store multiple values in a single variable. Array element. Each value within an array is called an element. Elements are accessed by their index. So the next one is array index, a numeric representation that indicates the position of an element in the array. JavaScript arrays are zero indexed, meaning the first element is at index 0. So the next one is array length, the number of elements in an array. It can be retrieved using the length property. So the next topic is functions in JavaScript. So a function in JavaScript is a reusable block of code that performs a specific task. You define it once and then you can run or call it whenever you need the task done in your program. A JavaScript function runs when it is called by some part of your code. To create a function in JavaScript, we have to first use the keyword function separated by the name of the function and parameters within the parentheses. The part of the function inside the curly braces is the body of the function. In JavaScript, functions can be used in the same way as variables for assignments or calculations. And functions can be used multiple times, reducing redundancy, break down complex problems into manageable pieces, and it also manages complexity by hiding implementation details. We can call themselves to solve problems recursively. So the next topic is objects in JavaScript. Objects in JavaScript are the most important data type and form the building blocks for modern JavaScript. Unlike primitive data types, which hold a single value, objects can hold multiple values as properties. This makes objects incredibly useful for grouping related data and operations, leading to more organized and maintainable code. In JavaScript, an object is a collection of related data and functions known as properties and methods. Respectively, properties are key value pairs the stored data, while methods are functions associated with the object that can manipulate its properties. Object can be called with or without new. Both create a new object. Objects are more complex, and each object may contain any combination of these primitive data types as well as reference data types. An object is a reference data type. Variables that are assigned a reference value are given a reference or a pointer to that value. Objects in JavaScript may be defined as an unordered collection of related data of primitive or reference types in form of key-value pairs. These keys can be variables or functions and are called properties and methods, respectively, in the content of an object. An object can be created with figure brackets with an optional list of properties. A property is a key value pair where a key is a string or a symbol, and they are also called a property name. And the value can be anything including numbers, strings, booleans, functions, arrays, or even other objects. And objects in JavaScript are reference types. This means that when you assign an object to a variable, the variable holds a reference to the memory location when the object is stored, not the actual object itself. So the next topic is JavaScript loops. Uh, Loops in JavaScript allow you to repeatedly execute a block of code as long as condition is true. JavaScript loops are essential for efficiently handling repetitive tasks. They execute a block of code repeatedly as long as a specified condition remains true. These loops are powerful tools for automating tasks and streamlining your code. For example, suppose we want to print hello world 5 times. This can be done using JavaScript loop easily. In loop, the statement needs to be written only once and the loop will be executed 5 times as shown below. The first is JavaScript for loop. The JavaScript for loop provides a concise way of writing the loop structure. The for loop contains initialization, condition, and increment or decrement in one line, thereby providing a shorter, easy to debug structure of looping. The first one is initialization condition. It initializes the variable and marks the start of a for loop. The next one is test condition. It is used for testing the exit condition of a for loop. Next is statement execution. Once the condition is evaluated to be true, the statement in the loop body are executed. Increment or decrement. It is used for updating the variable for the next iteration. The final is loop termination. When the condition becomes false, the loop automatically terminates, making the end of its life cycle. Then second is JavaScript while loop. The JavaScript while loop is a control flow statement that allows code to be executed repeatedly based on a given boolean conditions. So the while loop can be thought of as a repeating if statement. While loop starts with checking the condition. If it is evaluated to be true, then the loop body statements are executed. Otherwise, first statement following the loop is executed. For this reason, it is also called the entry control loop. Once the condition is evaluated to be true, the statements in the loop body are executed. Normally, the statement contain an updated value for the variable being processed for the next iteration. When the condition becomes false, the loop terminates, which marks of the end of its life cycle. So the third one is JavaScript do while loop. The JavaScript do while loop is similar to the while loop, with the only difference is that it checks for the condition after executing the statement and therefore is an example of an exit control loop. It executes loop content at least once even the condition is false. So we can see in this example while loop. The next is the do while loop starts with the execution of the statement. There is no checking of any condition for the first time. After the execution of the statements and update of the variable value, the condition is checked for a true or false value. If it is evaluated to be true, the next iteration of the loop starts. When the condition becomes false, the loop terminates, which marks the end of its life cycle. It is important to note that the do while loop will execute its statements at least once before any condition is checked. and therefore is an example of the exit control loop. So the fourth one is JavaScript for in loop. JavaScript for in loop is used to iterate over the properties of an object. The for in loop iterates only over those keys of an object which have their enumerable properties set to true. So the next one is JavaScript infinite loop. One of the most common mistakes while implementing any sort of loop is that it may not ever exist. That is, the loop runs for infinite times. This happens when the condition fails for some reason. JavaScript break statement. JavaScript break statement is used to terminate the execution of the loop or switch statement when the condition is true. The next one is JavaScript continue statement. JavaScript continue statement is used to break the iteration of the loop and follow with the next iteration. The break in iteration is possible only when the specified condition is going to occur. The major difference between the continue and break statement is that the break statement breaks out of the loop completely when continue is used to break one statement and iterate to the next statement. So thank you everyone.